What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Momo back with another video, man. And today we got some more news from EA about college football 25, man. And I'm excited, about the game. We've been getting news all week. Hopefully next week we'll get all news once again. They did say that they're gonna be dropping a specific thing next week. So stay tuned for the rest of the video, man, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and get into the rest of the things that they dropped about this week, which is the top 25 rankings of the offense, defense, and team rankings. We did react to the sights and sounds deep dive that they did drop on Wednesday. So if you guys didn't see that video, go ahead and check it out. There's a couple things in there that I was worried about, but hopefully they have everything, fixed and worked out. So first up, we did get the top 25 toughest places to play in college football 25 on Monday. I believe they released that on Monday. Couple of things that I did notice. If you guys seen the first deep dive that they did release, the gameplay deep dive, they had Penn State at a 2 for toughest places to play, and now they have them at 6. So that kind of initially shocked me. I feel like they could have been in that top 3 range, most likely at 1 or 2. Maybe even 1. Honestly, I would put them at 1 because they have the Mo Bamba and all that in the game, so that should, plus the crowd is already rowdy as it is, so I feel like that should put them at 1. But Texas A&M being at 1 is not the worst. I feel like Alabama could have been a little bit further back, but nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into the top 10, and then we'll go ahead and get into the top 25. The top 10 was Texas A&M at 1, Alabama at 2, LSU at 3, Ohio State at 4, Georgia at 5, Penn State at 6, Wisconsin at 7, which is surprising, Oklahoma at 8, Florida State at 9, and Florida at 10. Oregon at 11. They did this crazy right there. I mean, that's not too bad though. If you didn't know, I am an Oregon fan. So Clemson at 12, Tennessee at 13, Auburn at 14, South Carolina at 15, Michigan at 16, Virginia Tech at 17, Utah at 18, Texas at 19, Iowa at 20, Notre Dame at 21, Michigan State at 22, Arkansas at 23, Boise State at 24, and Mississippi State at 25. Now, Mississippi State being at 25 is, I feel like that one could have been a little bit higher up on the list as well. I am looking at possibly having my dynasty team being Mississippi State. But I don't know yet. We'll see. Like, just because like that, they have the cowbells and all that. So it's like that coming into a factor, in the SEC, like, we're playing big time schools, being home, like, and you hearing them cowbells going, if you're 8-0, 7-0, 5-0, like that crowd's gonna get rowdy. So I feel like that'll be a very cool place to have a dynasty team. So yeah, man, that'll be it's in the it's in my top 3 teams right now. So, but yeah, man, hopefully you guys will see that soon. When the game drops, I believe it's 18 days away from now. But yeah, man, I'm excited. But let's go ahead and get into the top 25 teams, or the top 25 offensive teams. Once again, initial thoughts when they dropped the top 10. I'm seeing Colorado at 8, which is very surprising. I feel like they could have been somewhere in the teens, but 8, just based off of what happened last year and what we've seen on the offensive side of last year, like them being at 8 was pretty crazy seeing that. And I get they added, key factors, they buffed up the line, added a couple pieces in the wide receiver core, I get that, but like we haven't seen anything, in play yet. So that being at 8 is them being at 8 is kind of, it's a little bit crazy. We'll see. Maybe they will live up to the 8. Maybe they'll end up being, you know, one of the best offenses this year. We don't know. But the top 10 was Georgia at 1, Oregon at 2, Alabama at 3, Texas at 4, Ohio State at 5, LSU at 6, Miami at 7, Colorado at 8, Missouri at 9, Clemson at 10, Utah at 11, Penn State at 12, Ole Miss at 13, Kansas at 14, Arizona at 15, NC State at 16, Notre Dame at 17, Texas A&M at 18, Memphis at 19, SMU at 20, UCF at 21, Florida State at 22, Oklahoma at 23, Virginia Tech at 24, USC at 25. That's not too bad for offense. The list, it's not too bad on that list right there, man. That was a pretty good list, I will say. The only problem, once again, I had was the Colorado one, but it's not a bad list. But we'll see. Then they dropped the top 10 defense as well yesterday too. So, once again, initial looks at it, I'm thinking, why is Florida State not in the top 10? I feel like they could have been maybe number 10, or maybe even higher on that. But yeah, pretty much let's go ahead and get into the top 25 for the defensive side of the ball. They had Ohio State at 1, Georgia at 2, Oregon at 3, Alabama at 4, Clemson at 5, Notre Dame at 6, Michigan at 7, Texas at 8, Penn State at 9, Utah at 10, Florida State at 11, Oklahoma at 12, Iowa at 13, Virginia Tech at 14, Wisconsin at 15, USC at 17, Auburn at 17, LSU at 18, Texas A&M at 19, Colorado at 20, Oklahoma State at 21, Louisville at 22, North Carolina at 23, Kansas State at 24, and Florida at 25. Once again, not a bad defense list. Just wish that Florida State was in that top 10 personally. Maybe even Iowa could have been in there too, but there is some heavy defensive teams in there. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. And then today we did receive the top 25 team power rankings. Once again, initially seeing it, I'm an Oregon fan, and I hated to see us at number 3. I feel like we could have gotten number 2, but I feel like Ohio State and Oregon are swappable 2 and 3 spots. But yeah, us being at 3 it's not bad. It's not the worst thing. I'm not gonna complain about that. I was surprised seeing Utah in the top 10. I don't know. Maybe Utah has something that I don't know about right now. Maybe they got some weapons I don't know about or something. Utah's not a bad team, but I'm just not expecting them to be in the top 10. But yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into the top 25 for the power rankings. They had Georgia at 1 with a 95 overall, Ohio State at a 93 overall at number 2, Oregon with a 93 overall as well at number 3, Alabama at 4 with a 92 overall, Texas at 5 with a 92 overall, Clemson at 6 with a 90 overall, Notre Dame at 7 with a 90 overall, LSU at 8 with a 90 overall, Penn State at 9 with an 88 overall, Utah at 10 with an 88 overall, Michigan at 11 with the 88 overall, Florida State at 12 with the 88 overall, Miami at 13 with an 88 overall, Texas A&M at 14 with the 88 overall, Ole Miss at 15 with the 88 overall, Colorado at 16 with the 87 overall. Oklahoma at 17 with the 87 overall. Wisconsin at 18 with the 87 overall. USC at 19 with the 87 overall. Virginia Tech at 20 with the 87 overall. NC State at 21 with the 87 overall. Kansas at 22 with the 87 overall. Arizona at 23 with the 87 overall. Oklahoma State at 24 with the 87 overall. And to finish it off, Iowa at 25 with the 87 overall. It wasn't, seeing those rankings was not terrible. It's a pretty reasonable top 25 list right there. If you guys look right here, we have some information about college football 25 dropping a dynasty deep dive next week. So pretty much it says social media and rep your school. Next week we'll have even more information to share, including our dynasty deep dive, where we explore the ins and outs of the mode, recruiting, and more. So I know a lot of us are excited for the dynasty mode. We have got a little bit here and there pieces from the past weeks, but we do need that deep dive, as well as gameplay. For me, guys, I really want to see some gameplay. Like, I feel like it's about time we see at least 2 to 5 minutes of gameplay. At least by now, we're 18 days out or so. I feel like we should have a little bit of gameplay by now. Hopefully, maybe we'll get some next week. Maybe they'll do it the same exact way where they're dropping information each and every day of next week. So we'll have a interesting week next week as well, just like we did have this week.